Hi, it's ToniXTina. So I'm back. I know it's been a little while since I've last uploaded, but it's just been a lot going on in my life. Which I will disclose to you guys as soon as possible. It's legal stuff, so I don't want to talk too much about it, and then you know how that process goes. But I'm definitely in some legal stuff that causes me to be distracted from uploading. But I'm sorry, guys. I definitely will concentrate on that more. Okay, so today's story we're gonna read from local news. Again, I made my channel for several reasons, so you're gonna get all kind of content from me. Especially once I decide to start uploading the other videos that I need to upload. I promise you guys, I have a lot of content I need to upload it, and that's gonna become like my hobby for the next 2 months while I'm waiting for my next court date. So you guys are gonna get of a lot of content from me. Um, trying to make sure I go through my intro before I get into this rabbit hole we're gonna dive in today for these wrongly convicted brothers that did 30 years for a crime they didn't commit. And this is in North Carolina. Oh, what I was gonna say is, I'm in the thing is, this is gonna bring me joy to bring you information about North Carolina, especially Raleigh in the area, in the surrounding area, because when I tell you North Carolina is definitely like, you would think it's like New York or something. Like, I mean, from or Chicago, you know what I'm saying? With the crime, it's crazy. And but a lot of my stories are going to be up to date stories and just stories that have happened in North Carolina. But I mean, a lot of crimes happen right here in North Carolina. A lot of drug lords and what American gangsters were from North Carolina. So man, don't sleep on North Carolina, but don't sleep on North Carolina. And honestly, I'm ready to. I'm not even gonna go there, but I will in the future. Like I said, once I get my information on my case, I'll talk to you very, very openly about what I need to say. But right now, it's just okay. I'm gonna give you information, spread the information about this state and this city, cause it's crazy. Okay, so two men were falsely imprisoned for decades for the rape and murder of a young Robeson County girl are suing those responsible for the wrongful convictions, seeking compensation. I'm trying to go. Look, my mind is everywhere, but I'm trying to focus. Seeking compensation for what they call as shoddy police work. So this 11-year-old girl, because I've read this article, so I'm not even gonna read through the whole thing. Which the next ones we might have to dive deeper, but so there was an 11-year-old child. She was murdered, raped, and her underwear were jammed down her throat. Um, she was found naked. This was in 1983. And a matter of fact, her name is Sabrina Bowie. I was reading over the article, and I'm like, who is Bowie? Who is Bowie? Okay, Sabrina Bowie. So 1983, Sabrina Bowie her body was found in a soybean field in Robeson County, in the Robeson County town of Red Springs. So this is going to be a deep rabbit hole. Robinson County town of Red Springs in 1983. Sabrina Bowie, 11-year-old child, was found in the field, naked, nothing but a bra on, pushed up against her neck, and her underwear jammed in her throat. These two brothers were convicted of it. Their parents, they had guardians that were, in this article states they didn't have a high IQ. I don't know what that. I mean, I feel like it has a lot to do with it when you look at it from the legal standpoint. But it's interesting that they mentioned in this article because what I've noticed with the system is what we'll call it. They will definitely ask you these questions when you have a case because I've dealt with it, and it's like, okay, they ask you about your education, ask you about your parents' education, and it's funny. It's not funny, but it's like it's what's the right word to say? It's kind of like, oh, a ting, like a an alarm or red flag, because if I don't have an education, my parents don't have an education that you think we should have, how can we stand trial to this? Or even if we stand trial to it, how can we be, if their parents had a low, or their guardians, I don't know if it was their parents, It says guardians in the article, but if their guardians had low IQ and they were young, 19 and 15, why? How could the system? That's what I call it. I break that down. I guess. Hope no, I won't break the system down because then it seems like the more information you give them, the more that you try to use your knowledge against you. Sad but true. Um. So the system is set up very, very poorly for it's been set up poorly since 1983, but even before then. So okay, Sabrina Bowie in 1983. Like I said, I'm gonna keep reiterating her name. I'm gonna keep saying her name because this was a young 11-year-old child that was found in a soybean field. Not only was that child's life cut short, 11-year-old child life cut short, but these two men, 19 and 15, these two boys, 19 and 15 at that time, were coerced into making a confession about a murder because of lazy cops, or either the cops, and we're gonna see. We're gonna dig deep into this. Like I said, it's gonna be a rabbit hole. I'm gonna try not to take up too much of you guys' time today with this story, but I'm gonna take up some of your guys' time today with this story. So, Roscoe Ortiz, while the brothers were on trial, while the brothers were in jail awaiting trial, Roscoe Ortiz, he lived next door to the young Sabrina Bowie, lived right next door to her. He was on, he raped and strangled an 18-year-old woman a mile from where the little girl was found. They say authorities investigated Ortiz as a suspect in the girl's murder, but never told defense lawyers. What are they? Are they not paying them enough? What's going on? What? We know what's going on, but we're just gonna ask the questions because hey, if we don't ask the questions, they don't understand why we feel the way we feel about these situations. What's going on? Are y'all not getting paid enough? Why was it so hard, even in 1983, for the authorities just to let the defense lawyers know? Man, or did they let them know and they just ignored it? Who's responsible for this? A 15 and a 19-year-old boy went to jail for 30 years. Prison, incarcerated for 30 years behind a crime they didn't do. They were sentenced to death. And at the time, Mr. Brown, he was 16. He was the youngest person on death row. Okay, so after the state Supreme Court ordered separate trials, McCollum returned to death row and Brown was sentenced to life in prison. The lawsuit was originally filed in 2015. The defendants claimed immunity. They tried to claim immunity in because they said they was carrying out their duties, but it don't look like they was carrying out their duties. They didn't seem like they was working hard to get their job done, because if they were, all it took was a few flowerless calls. Working on my language here, so you guys bear with me. So this article, let me definitely give credit to the article. It's from WRAL.com. Let me see if I can find. Okay, so credits to I guess they're only giving credits to the producer and the web editor, Randall Curry and Matthew Burns. Okay, sorry about that. I got a little sidetracked, just a little. Okay, so let's see. After 30 years in prison for the murder, the Half Brothers walk free. Let's see. I'm trying to think which one I want to choose to look into. This one's from, okay, so this is a ad from, or not an ad, I'm sorry, an article from June 5th, 2015. It was updated June 8th, 2015. This is a report from Fayetteville, North Carolina. The last one we just read is in Raleigh. So I guess, they're trying to spread the news about it. I don't know how far it's going. And that's not funny. It's just, damn. Two men who were pardoned by the governor. Governor Pat McCrory pardoned them. So I'm not sure what went to that, but that's thankful for that. Wait. So I'm gonna have to read this, and I'm sorry that I have to read it to you guys. I'm trying to be as quick as possible, just so we can get this video down to at least 30 minutes with a lot of information packed in it as possible. And we might have to do a part two. You know what I'm saying? Just because I don't want to take up too much of you guys' time, unless you have time. But I still want to make my videos a little short. I don't want to have to do too much for you guys to get the information that you need to get. So the two men were pardoned Thursday by Governor Pat McCrory after spending years in North Carolina's death row for a crime they didn't commit. Said they want to escape the prison of their past and focus on their future. Leon Brown and his half-brother Henry McCollum were convicted in 1983 of rape of 11-year-old Sabrina Boo, whose body was found in the soybean. We talked about that part. Sabrina Bowie. I'm hoping I'm saying her last name correctly. So DNA evidence, because of new DNA evidence, they kill me with this new DNA evidence stuff. Like they just happen to. It's funny how they utilize this to their advantage. That's all I'm gonna say when they try to talk about new DNA stuff, and they've been doing stuff with DNA for so long. Okay, let's keep going. But these men filed their lawsuit in 2015. Okay, McCrory talked personally with both men as part of his review of the case before granting them pardons of innocence. Wow. Even after the DNA proved they were innocent, McCrory still sat and felt like he had to sit and talk to them himself before he even pardoned the men. Wow. Some people get their power. It's just an abuse of power, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I'm not alleging. Well, this is just my opinion on the situation, because if DNA says these men didn't do it, why would you have to sit down with them before you actually pardon them to be released? So sorry about these notifications. Jeez. I hope I don't get any more notifications this morning. I'm so sorry about that. I hate that happened. Okay, the pardons mean they no longer have to walk around wondering if people think they're really guilty. The brothers thank the family members who stuck with them during their decades behind bars. So I'm sure my sister, she showed me how to work on a cell phone, a laptop, Facebook, and all that stuff. That's good. The hardest part of his incarceration was living day to day on death row. I can only imagine. Referencing the best visual I can give, and I don't want to insert anything that I can't, or I really have to focus on inserting. But give me a few weeks, y'all. Give me a few weeks. But I would think the best way to try to get a kind of visual that we have right now of that statement is probably watching When They See Us. I don't mind plugging them in, because that movie, I hate to say to watch it, because I've heard some things like, what it does with your energy levels and stuff, but to really feel, that just, to feel the part of thinking, if you want to, you can't belittle or downplay the fact that these men went through what they went through in jail for something they didn't do. You don't know when your time is going to come, he said. You don't know when they're going to call you down there to that captain's office and say, "Hi, I'm sorry, your appeals ran out. The warden has set you a new execution date." Wow. They both were given death sentences, which were overturned. Thank you, universe, for not letting them kings go down like that. At the second trial in the 1990s, Colin was again sent to death row, while Brown was convicted of rape and sentenced to life. Brown was 15 when he was sent to prison. McCollum was 19, and he said that the most difficult time for him came 2 years ago when he learned that his mother had died and that he wouldn't be able to tell her goodbye. She told me that when I got out of prison, she was going to take me shopping to buy a whole mall for me. He recalled of their last conversation. After she said that, the next thing I heard was, "Report to the chapel office. They said your mother passed." While the brother said they will never forget their 31 years in prison, they aren't bitter about it. Because if you say you're bitter, whew, oh no, you got anger issues. You're this, you're that. But really, 31 years, you sit there and then let them. But I understand you can't be bitter. You can, but you can't be stuck in the bitterness. Let's put it like that. So the pardons will allow the brothers to receive up to $750,000 in compensation from the state for wrongful imprisonment. The compensation must be first approved by the review board. So McCrory Grant is just talking about that. Let me see. My goodness, this might be a picture of Sabrina. I think that's a picture of Sabrina. It is. Wow. Wow. Mm-mm-mm. Okay. It's so sad. These are the brothers. I think I showed a picture of them. I'm gonna show it again. Leon Brown and Henry McCollum. Who they got pardoned in 2015 after being convicted for a 1983 murder of this rape and murder of this young lady, Sabrina Bowie. She was found in a soybean field. Her panties were stuffed in her throat with a stick, and they served 30 years. And it was a shame because her neighbor was actually Roscoe Ortiz, that sorry sack of beans, that demon, that freaking, you know what, that possibly abused child himself. And even I'm not trying to make him a victim at all. He definitely was, he had issues. He had issues. He had issues. He had issues. He got issues. I don't give a damn. Rest in peace, beautiful, beautiful child. Beautiful, innocent soul. Strength and power and progression and abundance to these two brothers. 750,000. Sorry, that's a dog barking. And I'm wondering, is it my dog? The distractions. Okay, I don't think he's loose. Alright. He sounds like he could be, but I'm not sure. So I'm not gonna let him distract me until I see him. Okay. Oh no, I didn't mean to go back. Oof. Okay, so we're gonna end this video here. I'm gonna do a part 2. I'm sorry I have to. I don't feel like I'm giving this enough time that I wanted to. And this It's definitely a sad, sad case. I shall return. I shall return.